We're going to start this review by telling you all the things that they specifically asked me to talk about, because these were sent to me for free. I don't get to keep them. I do have to send them back. But they did have a list of things they'd like me to talk about, and I'm going to tell you about them right now, and we're going to get those out of the way, and then we're going to get to my more like esoteric thoughts on these lenses. All right, put on my dirty glasses and let's see. Here are the things that they want me to mention. Depth of field indicator. Yep, that is one of the best parts. So you have this beautiful little depth of field indicator on the bottom here, and you're going to be seeing some close-ups of it right now. As you open up or close down your aperture, you will see these beautiful red little dots kind of follow along, and that will give you a sense of how far your depth of field is relative to the depth of field scale that is on the lens. It's a very cool system and it's very fun. On that note, when we're talking about these kind of things, you also have this really lovely little notch for your thumb or finger, whatever you're going to use to actually move the focus ring, and that's really nice. Not only that, but you also have this fun little switch that you can change for your aperture so that you can be clicked. And listen how satisfying that is. Or if it's nighttime, it can be declicked, which is also great for video. Which, by the way, video on these, pretty fun. Next up, 14 aperture blades, resulting in rounded bokeh, bokeh, however you decide to pronounce it. Here's the deal. It is a pretty nice round bokeh. The aperture blades do help with that for sure. You do get, some mild cat's eye effect, but that does go away. Even when you stop down there, you're not getting like super, super intense like edges or anything like that. It's really, really nice and round and pleasing, which is great because to me, the reason you buy these lenses, I would say is twofold. One, maybe the 28mm, you're thinking for like some street stuff. You might be thinking for landscape, and the 50mm, you're probably thinking of like portraiture, maybe some street stuff as well. But overall, like you want your background to either be able to be quite sharp if you're stopped down, which you can do really effectively with this, or you want it to be really nice and soft, wide open, not too busy. You don't want the bokeh balls to feel like super busy or anything like that. So you do get that with these 14 aperture blades, which is nice. It says here, minimum focus distance. Seriously, you guys want to know about that? I mean, might as well. Okay, so it's 0.4 meters for the Simera 28mm, and it's 0.45 for the 50mm. That's good. I mean, it's fine. I would say that like overall, you can get some nice close-up shots pretty easily with these if you need to. I'll show you a couple examples here, but that's not why you're buying this. But it is nice to know that you do have decent close focusing when you use these, because that's helpful. Why not? Why not be able to do that, right? But again, I don't think anyone's buying this for its close focusing capabilities. I could be wrong though. Let me know in the comments if that's something that's really important to you with this lens. Then it says here, etc. This is the etc. part. Okay, we don't need these anymore. We're going to start with the things I really like. First of all, these lenses are gorgeous. They feel super well built. They are solid in the hand. They're like heavy in a nice way, but not in a way where they're like so heavy. They're nice and small and compact, but they feel well built, which is cool. In fact, I thought this was neat. Every single one of them comes with this little certificate of quality, and it specifically has the name of the person, and then it has little check marks next to the words quality, cleanliness, packaging. And they're like physical check marks that they had to put on here. You can tell because they're all a little bit different, meaning somebody actually looked at this lens before it was sent to me. And that's really cool. I really, really appreciate that. The build quality feels very, very solid. I love the metal ring that comes with it for your lens hood. It is super, super nice. It's just gorgeous. I love this so much. I really like the black look of this too, and it goes well with my ZF, which is nice. Next up is the focusing experience. I actually very much like it. I think that the little thumb tab that you have here is really, really comfortable. It's easy to use, and I find nailing focus on this to be pretty easy. The only time I ever felt like I had trouble with it, I mean, in super fast-paced scenarios where I'm wide open, that's tough. The only times I ever really had trouble was if I had my, my focus peaking on. I actually found that that was more harm than good, but that's actually nothing to do with the lens and everything to do with just the amount of focus peaking that, the ZF or the Z8 puts onto things. I find it kind of distracting. So don't count that against these. That's literally the only time I had a problem, and it wasn't even with the lens. I find that it is a very, consistent focusing lens. What I will say is that if you're at infinity, like 99.9% of lenses I've ever used in manual, if you're at infinity, you want to pull back just like a millimeter. And that seems to be like true infinity. It's almost like it focuses past infinity and goes a little bit soft otherwise. So if you go all the way and then you just pull back the tiniest little bit, you're gonna have a much better experience with your infinity focus. Next, I really like that they are like such a similar size and weight. I think that it's really nice. The only thing I will say is that you can sometimes get them a little bit mixed up because of the fact that they're so similar. So you do have to kind of give them a quick glance because everything about them is the same except for the focal length, really. The 50 mil, 28 mil, I don't know, the 50 mil is a little bit heavier, I guess, but that's literally me holding on to it. Saying that, like, I don't know, I could check, but they're so close it doesn't really matter. And finally, the biggest and most important thing is obviously image quality. I love the images out of this. There is this really beautiful, like, I hate saying this, but this like 3D pop effect. There is this sort of just like pronounced subject separation that I really like on these lenses. I'll show you a few images here and you can see that like people just stand out, like portraits stand out with this lens, whether they are like full body or they're a little bit tighter, they look gorgeous. Or if you're doing like landscapes, you're doing street stuff, it just, I don't know, the rendering on them is really beautiful. I really like it. The way it pairs with the ZF is awesome. That's what I've shot it with mostly. I've used it with the Z8 a little bit, but to be honest, like, I think if you have a ZF and you have these lenses, that's how you're gonna pair it because it feels so good. So the rendering is beautiful. The colors look super accurate. The coatings on them are really, really nice. The fact that it's an aspherical lens is nice too. I don't know, there's just so much good to say about these lenses. But here are the downsides, things I think that they could work on, things that I'm not super stoked about. Firstly, this is obviously like a fully manual lens, which is fine, but what sucks is that it doesn't have any electronic tabs to allow you to actually connect it to the camera. So the camera has no idea what focal length you're at, it doesn't know what aperture you're at, and that's kind of annoying. When you're trying to pull EXIF data and show people on YouTube, like, hey, here are the photos I took. I have to like remember if I shot it with the 28 or the 50. Now, I can tell by the look of the photo if it's a 28 or a 50, so it's not really that big a deal. But not having the electronic pins is kind of annoying because it also means that the focus confirmation doesn't work either. So like, one of the cool things about the ZF is if you throw a manual lens on it or you put a lens into manual, it will show you like a little green box, little check mark on whatever you're focusing on to tell you that it's in focus, even though you're still using a manual focus lens, which is great. The problem is it won't read any data from this, so that won't work. There is a workaround with it where you can use 2 different adapters simultaneously to get that. But the thing is, what I love about this so much is that it is a Z-Mount, so I don't have to use adapters. So then to have to put 2 adapters on, I don't know, and like I would have to get the M-mount version of this, use the M-mount version with 2 adapters in order to get that focus confirmation. It's not really worth it for me at that point. So yeah, it would be very cool if at one point they could put electronic pins on this. However, I imagine that is a Nikon thing, not a Thypoch thing. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And my only other issue with these lenses, and this is actually, it's nothing to do with the lens quality, nothing to do with the images or anything, but it's so frustrating for me. And Thypoch, if you're watching, which I'm imagining someone from you is because you sent me these lenses to review, the cap, the lens cap for the back, when you put it on, it barely stays on. Like it doesn't lock into place and it so easily just falls. It doesn't matter. I've used both different ones that came with both lenses that you sent me, and it's the same damn thing both times. It doesn't matter. They just don't lock into place like satisfyingly like most other lenses do. Honestly, like one little hit, that was really loud, one little hit and it just falls off. It's very, very frustrating and you need to fix that. That is like very frustrating for me. Whew. Okay, I got that out of the way. So overall, they're absolutely stunning lenses. I'm super happy with them. I am really excited to get to continue to work with them. I do have to send them back in about a week. So am I gonna buy them though? That's the question. So they are expensive and I don't really have a solid use case for manual lenses in my professional setup. So from a business standpoint, it wouldn't really make a ton of sense for me. But from a personal standpoint and a joy standpoint, the next time I make a decision to buy a piece of camera gear for fun, I can tell you without hesitation that these will be very high up on my list, and I will probably look into buying these because I just think they're so cool. I think they're so great. I love how they look, and I'm gonna miss them when they're gone. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you shot with these? Do you like them? Do you hate them? I'm curious what you think. And thank you so much to Thypoch for sending these over. I appreciate it. I'll be sending them back. I'll make sure to include the back cap, even though it's probably gonna fall off in transit. Man. Okay, thanks y'all. Peace.